Welcome back to the Hawkeye Garage. I'm Joe. We've got the GX470 back with us for the video today. Haven't seen much of it lately here on the channel because honestly, it's just been working lately and I've been leaving well enough alone. A while back, I did have a project that I think you guys are going to be pretty excited about. We're going to piggyback off of the same project we've kind of dealt with in the past, so stay tuned. You might remember a few videos ago, we talked about resetting the rear airbag suspension. A couple different hacks that you could do at home to reset that system. Now, all of that trouble that I had dealing with that air suspension that time pushed me to do a mod that I had been wanting to do. I just had not done it, which is going to lead to more mods in the future. And basically what that is controlling the airbag suspension up and down completely manually, bypassing all of the sensors, all of the ECUs, and setting the rear ride height myself with a switch. You may remember another video that I installed an up and down switch for the rear suspension, and all that did was take place of the factory high, neutral, and low position switch that used to be in the center console. Of course, I have cup holders and stuff in the center console. I don't have the electronic adjustable shocks anymore, but I did want to be able to raise and lower the rear of the vehicle when hooking up to my camper. So the biggest reason that I went through all of that, and we're gonna get underneath the dash, or we're gonna get underneath the back here in a little bit, was that since it seems like this is probably going to be a vehicle that is sticking around longer, I want to go ahead and convert the rear to coil springs. Not because I don't like the airbags. I love the airbags, honestly. I love being able to adjust the ride height, whether we're towing, whether I've got a bunch of bicycles hanging out the back, whether or not we've got a vehicle full of people and cargo in the back. I love having that adjustability. But I am going to switch to coil springs for reliability. We've had this vehicle almost 4 years now, and honestly, I think it's probably a miracle that the airbags haven't had any leaks. And we haven't done really any off-roading with it, but if we're gonna keep it in the future, maybe we will. But all that being said is I'm going to do those coil springs and helper airbags. So the Firestone or Goodyear airbags I'm going to put in there, and therefore utilize the factory air compressor to inflate and deflate those airbags. Use essentially the same airlines at the airbags. I believe all you have to do is just cut the ends off of these factory ones, and then there's just a little push connector adapter, and you can run those aftermarket airbags. So that is the long-term plan. I did this a while ago just because I wanted to make sure that it all worked properly. You guys are probably going to cringe a little bit, some of my wiring connections, and some of that, it took a lot of trial and error. There's not a lot of information on the internet on how to do this. Pretty much the only thing out there is how to turn your air compressor from running the airbags into being an actual air compressor to inflate tires and stuff. So first we're going to get underneath the dash and take a look at some wiring, and don't worry if it looks confusing. I'm going to have at some point in the video a wiring diagram on the screen that will lay everything out, and then of course I will have that wiring diagram still shot over my Instagram and my Facebook, and those links will be down below. So let's hop underneath the dash. All right, we're going to be cramped in here, but we're going to try and make it work. You see, so we're right to the right hand side of the steering column. This is where the little block out plate would have been a rear locker switch had this been overseas, but this is my switch that I had installed previously, and if you want to check that video out, just go ahead and scroll down. I'll have the link down below in the description, but and I will also link this switch. It's from Amazon. So basically, I'm just showing you this. You're not going to be able to see all the wire colors. You'll be able to see that on the wiring schematic, and of course you can use whatever colors that you want. So we've got power wires, we've got grounds, we have wires going down below to the driver's side kick panel. And that's the nice thing. We don't actually have to run any wiring. I don't think. I'm trying to remember. I may have had to pull ground, and I may have had to pull power. But that is it. We're not running any wires under the hood. We're not running any wires to the back. But here is the switch. And if I'm completely honest with you guys, there's a little like support brace back here. It's like a piece of sheet metal that this trim panel mostly attaches to. This did not really want to fit like that with that back there, so I hit it with a hammer and I dented it in, and now it fits. So there's that. You will need to remove the little kick panel here. You'll need to remove the dead pedal up underneath there. I'll get some more lighting in a second. And you will need to remove this kick panel here. It can all just be done by pulling it off. It just unclips, but you know, be careful. You don't want to break any of the plastic. All right, here's where we're going to get a little more complicated and even more cramped. So the ECU for the airbag system is up here. It's attached to the side of the vehicle. You can take this blue piece off. There's a couple clips and you can kind of pull this back because there's 3 harnesses in the bottom of that ECU. Here's one of them. Let's see, one of them right here. We're going to unplug all 3 of those. Hopefully we'll be showing a screenshot or a still image of what that is going to look like for you. And you need to unplug those. That is actually going to get rid of all of the lights on your dash having to do with the air suspension. You're not going to have any air lights. You're not going to have any indicators for high, neutral, or low position. You're not going to get any other like check engine or warning lights or anything. We're just completely bypassing that. So we've got several connections over here. All of these wires come from the switch and or go back to the compressor area. It's actually the tank basically is where they're going to go. So we have some with power, we have some with grounds, we have some for the up, some for the down, and like I said, the wires that I used are going to be inconsequential because you're going to use whatever color you want, and that's where you're going to want to reference the wiring diagram again. What I can say is, like, let's see, I don't know if you guys can see on this image or not, there is a pink wire with a green stripe here. There's like 3 pink wires with green stripes, and it took me several times to figure out which one it was. Here's one that's cut. There's another one in the back that's cut, and I can't tell where they've come from in the harness, so I apologize for that. It is what it is. I can tell you that hooking them up and then trying it didn't hurt anything. It just didn't work. So if you are wiring something up and it doesn't work, find another wire that's the same color and try that one. Again, here's with this green wire. I know there was a couple of those. I think that they came out of this harness. I think they all came out of this harness right here. A pink with green, a light green, and this brown with yellow. That's going to be all your trigger wires for up and down. And then of course we're going to duplicate some of that. So this is going to be the hardest part, digging all of this out, cutting, crimping your connections, and going from there. So here is, let's see, this is the plug that I think that they all came out of. It's a mess of wires down here. There's just no way around it. It is what it is. But a little trial and error if you have to, and some cramped quarters avoids having to run all of these wires back underneath the vehicle. We can just splice into the harness here and be done with it. All right, we're up underneath the car now. This is the rear driver's side. Here's the spare tire. There's the airbag. So we're right behind the airbag on the driver's side. This is the tank, the air tank that holds the air. Basically, there's two control valves that control the distribution of air to the airbags back into the tank from, if I can get my light, from the air compressor to the tank. But essentially, you only need to do one connection back here, and I know you probably can spy a couple more that I've done because I did trial and error to figure this out for you guys, so I cut some wires and had to reconnect them. But anyway, what you need to do back here has to do with this plug and all these purple wires. So you're going to have to cut both the purple wires, take the purple with white out of the harness, and splice it to the two going into the plug. I'm going to put some heat shrink tubing on that. But that's all you need to do. Back here, it's basically just going to let the air go in and out, is the short explanation. So there it is. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you understood it. Again, I can't stress enough, the wiring diagram is going to be your best friend. And again, if you hook a wire up wrong here or there, nothing bad is going to happen because I hooked up a lot of wrong wires before I figured it out. So trial and error, I guess, unfortunately. And that's honestly the best answer that I can give you. So I would eventually like to find some kind of digital pressure gauge to maybe cut apart the gauge cluster and put in the cluster there where the factory lights for the air suspension used to be. I don't know if that's a possibility. We'll see. A lot of the digital readout pressure gauges were super expensive, so maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing or looking in the wrong place. I know there's a lot of electrical guys out there that subscribe to the channel, so if you've got a better idea, a better solution, or a good idea about that, please hit me up in the comments or email me directly, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. So if you have any other questions, comments, again, feel free, comment section or email me. You've got some better ideas on how to do this. I'm open to that as well, of course. So if you're new to the channel, we've been doing a lot of Lexus, Toyota stuff for the last couple years, also a lot of mountain bike stuff recently. Again, because Toyotas just work and there's not a lot to do to them. So follow the links over to my Instagram and my Facebook if you need a still shot of that wiring diagram, of course, and to check out all my other day-to-day content. So give the video a thumbs up if you would, subscribe if you haven't already, and until the next video drops, thank you for watching, take care, goodbye.